So we just got ourselves a brand new Dark Magician structure deck and a brand new skill to go with it. That we can't actually really play yet until we get the new supporting card in a couple of days. So unfortunately, we're not really going to be playing any Dark Magician stuff. But there is another half to this structure deck, and that is of course Blue-Eyes. Now if you clicked on this video expecting a Blue-Eyes deck list with the brand new skill, you're going to be a little bit disappointed, as I honestly don't feel like the new skill is aimed that well towards Blue-Eyes stuff. It feels like it's a way better Dark Magician skill than a Blue-Eyes skill, so I'm going to be playing that with the brand new Dark Magician stuff when the brand new support comes out in a couple of days. So Blue-Eyes, I've basically just taken an already existing Blue-Eyes deck list with the new Dimension skill, which is honestly just way better at facilitating the new fusion spell than the new skill is, and I've taken an already existing Blue-Eyes deck list, tossed 3 of the fusion spell into it, just to see how it would do. And as it turns out, I went on a 13 game win streak. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get into the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a returning viewer, so apparently about 35% of watching this are even subscribed to the channel, means 65% of you haven't even subscribed yet. So if you guys are enjoying this kind of content, want to see more deck lists from me in the future, or more videos from me in the future, remember to do a like on this video and consider subscribing to the channel down below. I obviously have a bunch of videos planned on the latest box coming out, including your Dark Magician stuff, and as well as all of your zombie stuff, your Shiranui, your pure zombie, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to see those videos, remember to subscribe, and let's get into this deck list. Alright, so first thing you might notice about this deck list, especially if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you'll know I'm a huge advocate for keeping your deck list as small as physically possible, trying to make sure your deck list is always going to be 20 cards, and just about every single one of my uploads is 20 cards, but unfortunately for this deck, that is just no longer physically possible if you want to play the new fusion spell. Because of course, your skill requires your 9 Blue-Eyes monsters and your monster Reborn, so that's already 10 cards that are decided before you've done anything else. We're playing 3 copies of Melody because you absolutely have to, it's the best card on your deck list. It works insanely well with the new fusion spell, it allows you to summon your Chaos Max, so you can't really cut this thing. Then we're playing 3 copies of the new fusion spell for the video, so that's already 16 cards decided before I've done any other sort of deck building. Then we have to play max amount of tuners for max amount chance of going into your Spirit Dragon on turn 1. If anything, you might even be able to play some more Veiler, just so you have even more tuners in here. And of course, we have the 2 searchable cards of your Veiler and your Deep Eyes White Dragon, which are cards you can't really cut. If anything, like I said, you could play more copies of Veiler just for more tuners, so this is the absolute minimum amount of cards you can play in this deck list without just feeling a lot worse. So that's what we're running, 24 cards. So the new card for this deck list is of course going to be your Ultimate Fusion. This card, during the main phase, can fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck that mentions Blue-Eyes White Dragon or Blue-Eyes Ultimate Dragon by shuffling the fusion material listed on it from your hand, field, and or graveyard into the deck. Then you can destroy face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Blue-Eyes White Dragon and Blue-Eyes Ultimate Dragon used from the field as material. You can activate 1 per turn. So this card, it may initially sound pretty goddamn insane, but there's a lot of major downsides to this card that you do need to keep track of. First of all, it's a during the main phase only effect. This is very important because it means you can't just summon a bunch of Blue Eyes, swing into your opponent, activate the Ultimate Fusion, swap them out for another bigger Blue Eyes, swing in again for a shitload of attacks. That's not how this card works. You have to fusion summon during the main phase first. The other major downside is although this card can destroy a bunch of your opponent's stuff, it can only destroy cards based on the monsters used from the field as fusion material. So if you use 2 monsters on field as fusion material, that's 2 cards you destroy for your opponent. If you use 1 from field, 1 from the graveyard, and 1 from the hand, that's only going to be 1 destruction still because you only used 1 Blue Eyes from the field. So a couple of sort of annoying downsides for this card, but it's still a really good card and has 2 really good uses. The first one is, this is fantastic at dodging your opponent's back row. If you summon out a Blue-Eyes Alternative Dragon, 95% of the time the opponent's going to respond by trying to stop the Alternative Dragon using its effect, activating some sort of back row or something to try to prevent it, and then you just chain an Ultimate Fusion, using the now Blue-Eyes on the field, because its card is obviously treated as Blue-Eyes when on the field, using the Blue-Eyes on the field, swapping it out, summoning out a big fusion monster, and you just wasted one of your opponent's back row, and of course can now destroy some of your opponent's stuff. So an insane card at dodging back row, and it's also really good at setting up disruption for your opponent's turn, which is something this deck list doesn't really do an awful lot of. Sometimes it gives you a Veiler, sometimes it gives you an Azure during your opponent's turn, sometimes you can summon Black Rose during your opponent's turn, but in general, you don't really do a whole lot going first. And now we have a fusion spell, which helps out quite a bit, as you just summon out a bunch of Blue Eyes on your first turn, maybe your Stone summons out a Blue Eyes from the deck list during the end phase, set your ultimate fusion, activate this during your opponent's turn, pop a couple of your opponent's cards, a great little disruption spell on top of being a great way to dodge your opponent's back row. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the deck list portion of the video. Let's get into some gameplay showcasing what this brand new card can do. Alright, so as you can see, I went on a pretty insane win streak with this deck list, winning 13 games in a row with it, before finally losing to Winged Dragon of Ra of all things. My opponent just summoned an egg to the field, I just drew a bunch of Blue Eyes monsters, didn't even draw a tutor monster, didn't draw my non-target removal, so just had literally no way to deal with it, and just kind of lost, so yeah, a bit unfortunate, but still had a pretty insane win streak all the same. Admittedly, I did actually lose a few games before it, and won a bunch more games before it as well, so it wasn't exactly a 13-0 like the thumbnail probably is gonna say, but it was a 13-game win streak, so you might have got clickbaited just a little bit, just a bitly. But I did get the 13-game win streak. That one wasn't clickbait. 13-0 just looks way better in a thumbnail, so hope you don't mind a little bit of clickbaiting here and there. Alright. Up against the brand new character. So not all these replays, by the way, are going to be using the new fusion spell, just because although I want to use the fusion spell for the video, you just don't draw it every single game because, well, it's a 24 card deck list, so yeah. Alright. Guys playing Suship. Actually, there's a couple of Suship replays in this one, and he's playing the field spell, which turned out to be really annoying. I completely forgot what this card did and didn't even bother to read it, so I kind of shit on myself there by not reading this card. But anyway. Alright, opponent's going to go into his Dreadnought, drawing another card before ending on 3 lots of back... Oh, only 2 back row. I thought he ended on 3. Never mind. Alright. Playing my monster Reborn, putting my Dragon Spirit of White in grave. He has Ice Dragon's Prison to prevent it. A little bit annoying. Not sure why he wouldn't wait for the Dragon Spirit of White to hit the field first. Maybe he really wanted to defend his field spell or something. I don't know why he would just... I don't know why he would did that, but anyway. Alright, going to summon out my alternative. He's going to compulse it. In response, I can ultimate fusion. Summoning out a Twin Burst to pop a card on the field. And here, I probably should have popped this field spell because I didn't really realize this thing let my opponent just summon out a bunch of other shit. Yeah, that field spell is going to be really goddamn good once they release the final Suship X-Deck monster. Alright, Dreadnought drawing a card, and this is now a very annoying field to deal with, because my opponent, of course, can just say no. But I have left it so that he's only got 2 monsters on the field, and he can't actually go into another Xyz summon very easily, because he just hasn't got the space on field to Xyz summon. He has to, like, tribute summon over this with a level 5 if he draws it. So he's just going to put everything in defense, and now we're just playing a waiting game. So I don't want to clear his field, I don't want to let him Xyz summon. I'm going to use my Blue Eyes to search for an effect Veiler. Oh, my Sage, sorry. Swap out my Sage, summoning out another Blue Eyes. With the best card art. Definitely the best variation in my opinion. Still not going to attack though, because I can't do lethal. He's going to swing in, use a Lance to then basically clear his own field and summon out another dude from hand. Summoning another Dreadnought. Alright, well, passing back, and now I've finally hit my melody. So two Blue Eyes is added to the hand. That can be potentially 2 lots of destruction from my opponent's field, or 3 lots actually, because I can destroy with this thing first. So pop 1, activate this, that will then summon a Blue Eyes, pop 2. Oh sorry, I actually summoned out Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Still only a pop 2, but I think that's the only time I summoned this in the video. Good old Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Alright. Up against a mirror match. I don't think this is one of the replays I used the fusion spell. Maybe it was. Alright. Oh no, it was one I used it. Alright, so setting the fusion spell turn 1. Send my Blue Eyes to the graveyard, activating monster Reborn. Summon out the Ghost Rare thing. They really should have done a better job with Ghost Rares. This is ugly as all hell, but anyway. When is Yu-Gi-Oh gonna start doing full arts, man, like Pokemon? Anyway, summon out the Spirit. End phase, summoning the Ancient, summon out another Blue Eyes from the deck. And the reason we're summoning Blue Eyes from the deck list rather than summoning out the dude that would search for the Deep Eyes, like you will see in some of the other replays, is because, of course, we have the Fusion spell set, so we want a Blue Eyes name on the field for it. So we get to pop our opponent's stuff. Alright, our opponent is thankfully very scared of the back row, so he's going to go for a Spirit first. Which is fine, because I just chain, and this is a non-target removal, so he didn't actually have a response here, so I know he doesn't have a Blue Eyes in hand unless he toggled off. But it didn't really matter anyway, because this is non-target destruction, so even if he did swap it over, I'd still just pop my opponent's stuff. Alright. He's going to use his Sage, searching for a Veiler. Before using another Sage to summon out a Blue Eyes, or summon out a Solid Dragon, I'm now going to be forced to swap this out. He's going to swap his Solid out as well. Now, I'm not going to summon out the card that returns this to hand, because I think there's a very high chance he has an alternative in hand, just because I think at the start of the turn, like I said, he didn't actually, he didn't have a response to use with the Spirit Eyes earlier, so I don't think he has a Blue Eyes in hand. So there's a high chance he has one in hand and he wants me to return this to hand, so I'm just not going to do it. Summon Silver instead, and just hope he can't do anything else for the turn, which, yeah, he can't. Alright, Stone adding back the Solid so I can discard it. Not sure if that was too good of a use of Stone, but anyway. Didn't really matter. Out comes the alternative. This deck has so many animations, man. Alright. Popping his card, this triggers a Deep Eyes. Which is actually really annoying, but thankfully, my opponent is dumb, activates an Effect Veiler, because this card currently can't attack, so I don't have lethal. This could have swung in, this could have then swung in, but I wouldn't have had lethal damage. But unfortunately for him, he for some reason forgot this card was currently untargetable due to the, where is Azure on the previous turn. So he's going to use the Effect Veiler. He only has one target, which is the Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, which gives me an extra attack, because this thing currently can't attack, because I used its effect. So he basically just gave me an extra attack, and just, yeah. A little bit unfortunate, that one. At least I think I used the, Azure. Did I use it? Pretty sure I used the alternative at some point. Yeah, I did. I already used alternative. Alright, on to replay number 3. I think this is the Rocket replay? I know there's a Rocket replay in here somewhere. It's not. Never mind. I think these replays are a little bit out of order. I think I must have saved some of the Rocket replays later on. Some of the non-new Fusion Spell replays. So on a 7-game win streak here. Duel. Alright, using his Starry Night Balefire. How do you pronounce this thing? Balefire? Alright. Not the greatest end field, but to be fair, I basically just saved a lot of the, anytime I use the Fusion Spell, I basically just save the replay, just because it's a little bit rare that you use it. Well, at least in this 13-game win streak, it wasn't like I used it every single game, so... Spirit going to be popping his card, he's going to be trying to pop mine, I can of course swap it over. Unfortunately though, I couldn't see any way to really lethal my opponent here, just because of the, yeah, just because I can't destroy from field with the Ultimate Fusion if I wanted to go for a Synchro Summon, so I couldn't really see a way to lethal him. But I am going to summon out a big dude anyway. Well, swing in. Admittedly, I probably shouldn't have summoned this. I should have just set this Ultimate Fusion for extra disruption during my opponent's turn, because my Stone is going to summon a Blue Eyes in a second. So I could just set up some disruption. Also, I summoned this card, but I didn't have any Blue Eyes in the graveyard, so it just had no effect. Yeah, I definitely didn't play this duel optimally, but who cares? Spirit Dragon swapping over, making sure all this stuff is not targetable. And it's still not targetable even during my turn, so He can only target this thing, not gonna help him too much. He is very dead. Alright. On to our next replay. Up against... I don't think this guy was playing Moonlight. 8 game... This might be a Constellar player. There was a couple of Constellars, I think, that I recorded. Oh yeah, it's a Constellar player. And I think this guy had DD Crow, spoiler alert. Crow is a bit of a nasty thing for this deck list. This deck probably won't do too well in the new format when everyone's playing Crow to deal with the zombie stuff, just because your Monster Reborn just gets crowed every single game. If only Monster Reborn wasn't target, man. Yeah, it just gets shit. Yeah, it gets absolute shit on by Crow. It's pretty funny too, watching someone crow your Monster Reborn target, because then the Monster Reborn animation just still goes off anyway. So it just shows this fancy animation for literally nothing. It's just funny because the animation goes off after the crow. Anyway. Alright, search my Monster Reborn, try to use it, I get crowed. Very nasty. Alright, so I'm going to use my Melody, discarding, grabbing some Blue-Eyes monsters. I'm going to summon my Blue-Eyes to the field. I'm going to try to summon as many Blue-Eyes to the field as possible before using the fusion spell if I can, because that would mean I get more destruction with them, more pops. Or potentially more pops if I need them. Alright, there's the alternative. And before I can use this effect, I believe he tries to use his Constellar. I'm now going to chain my card, and I decide not to pop both monsters, I just use the one in hand instead. So I only get one pop here, but that's alright. Summon out my Twin Burst, and pray to god that back row isn't something else, so... Boost to 4k, and that is enough for lethal damage. Thankfully that back row was like an MST or something. They're not the most insane Constellar Ownfield, to be fair, so... Definitely played against some bigger Ownfields than that one, but... Playing through a DD Crow and playing through at least one bounce is at least something. Alright, moving on. So this was a rocket replay. This one definitely wasn't... This was one of the earlier replays. I'm surprised. I must have saved it in a different order. I think I was initially planning to only save the fusion spell replays, but then I thought, I kind of want this video to go a bit longer, so I saved some more. Alright. Summoning out the Blue-Eyes Spirit Dragon turn 1, Blue-Eyes Dimension, sending some stuff, grabbing a Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn reviving the dude. So I gotta search for a Deep Eyes during the end phase. And there is the Deep Eyes ready to go. Alright, grabbing his field spell. Not too scared this deck too much. Azure-Eyes gonna be swapping over. He uses Rapid Trigger in response, which is kind of scary because it means if I summon out my Azure, he can chain his fusion monster to it and pop it before it gets its protection effect off. So instead of doing that, I decide to go for the Rose Dragon instead to remove it. So basically he uses destruction on a card that I don't really care about being destroyed because it's going to get destroyed during the end phase anyway, thanks to Spirit Dragon, so just free removal, get shit on. And he has to pass on basically nothing. Melody discarding the Polymerization. Grabbing the 2 Blue-Eyes monsters. And yeah, he is very dead from here. Alternative, popping 1. Summoning out a Blue-Eyes. Alright, sending that to the graveyard, summoning the spirit to pop the field spell, and he's just dead on field. Yeah, this new Rose Dragon is actually a pretty decent addition to the deck list. I think it's a little bit underrated how good it is for Blue-Eyes. To be fair, it is a selection box card, so it's not like you need to dig into a box to play the deck list, so... If it wasn't a selection box card, I'd highly recommend all Blue-Eyes players to get it. But if you're an absolutely dirty whale like me and just spend billions on this shitty virtual card game, yeah, you should definitely whale for it. Alright, up against, I think, was it another Constella? No, it was another Sue ship. And this must be the triple back row Sue ship that I mentioned earlier. Alright, so he's gonna summon out his Dreadnought, get another card draw. Sushi. He has Droplet as well. Oh my god, he's playing Rescue Rabbit. Alright, summons out Dreadnought, gets another card draw. Triple back row and pass. Alright. Dimension discarding, going Monster Reborn. Reborn going to be summoning back the Dragon Spirit of White. Targeting the middle back row. Gets booked, we can swap that over in response. It's been a sick replay to open the fusion spell actually. Alright, Melody discarding, grabbing 2 Blue Eyes from the deck. Summon the alternative. I think we've seen that animation enough this video. Gets Book of Moon. That's fine. I can just summon out another Blue Eyes. Alright, we get it. Boosting the attack, swinging in. He can defend from one, but can't defend from the other. Now we just hope he can't just absolutely top deck his ass off. Alright. Drop Blitz me, don't really care too much. This game is very, very over. Even gonna swap this out just because why not? And he's dead. Alright. On to our final replay. I can't remember if this one used the fusion spell or not. Oh yeah, this is the 11th game. Alright. This opponent will be summoning out a couple, another Sue ship deck. This guy did some different stuff. He activated a copy of Rank Up Magic Limited Baryons Force, how do you pronounce this thing? To rank it up into a copy of Utopia Ray. Which also has a interesting animation. Goddamn Power Rangers animation. Actual Power Rangers animation, that one. Alright, then equips this card, which I've literally never seen before. Apparently this thing just stops it being destroyed by battle, so... sure, I guess. Alright, Monster Reborn reviving. Banishing the back row, he's going to Compulse in response. Dodge that. Still amazes me how good Spirit is. Spirit's been in this game for so goddamn long, and it's still just such a good card. Just any card that can dodge back row is so good. Alright, Melody discarding. So I didn't actually summon Chaos Max in this video now that now I've gone through all the replays. Probably should have saved at least one Chaos Max replay, but anyway. Maybe next time. Alright, gonna pop his monster on the field, he's gonna negate in response. This is fine, because I can at least go for another way to out the monster. Sage, swapping that over for another Blue Eyes. These two are going to become the Twin Burst, and I'm going to hit him in the face for 3,000. Unfortunately, didn't have the... oh, you can see it. So, unfortunately, didn't have the 4,000 attack booster in Graveyard, but he decided to concede anyway. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's replays. Hope you guys enjoyed them. If you did, remember to like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Remember, I have a whole bunch of videos coming out around the new box and the new Dark Magician stuff and the new zombie stuff, so remember to subscribe for all that. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.